Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hey, man, I got a question for you. And I know y'all won't have the answer, but I'm going to ask the question. Who is the most talked about female boxer right now? Now, I know y'all don't know the answer to that. But if this was a game show and I was the host and I asked that question, who is the most talked about boxer on the internet? And Shannon Sharp was the contestant. He'd say, I don't know about this one, Hood. I don't know about this one, Hood. And they'd have the silhouettes of all of 6 boxers. So you couldn't tell who it was. You know, Big Guap would say, man, please. You know it's Big Guap. Let me tell you something, man. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's zoom me out and let's stretch this out. There we go. Now we can see the thumbnail. Can't we all just get along? Look, man, Claressa Shields. If we want to play Name That Boxer, it's not even about her boxing anymore. Like, that shit is up and away, you know what I mean? Out the window, you know what I'm saying? Everything with Big Woke is about her drama. And her name has become way bigger than what she's accomplished as a fighter, from the amateur days to the pros. You know what I'm saying? You would think a normal boxing story like Claressa's would last a few days, a few months. But Lord have mercy, man. The controversial Claressa Shields, anything this woman does or says generates weeks, months, and I think years of discussion. Because the conversation, it's not staying inside the confines of boxing. You know what I'm saying? It has moved into celebrity culture, her relationship with Papoose, social media, entertainment personalities, fashion, arguments, interviews, podcasts, and then, of course, going at the content creators, man. And I'm going to tell you, that's some powerful stuff right there. You know what I'm saying? Especially for someone like Claressa, who come from Flint, Michigan, and who would have thought that she'd be the talk on the internet? Like, no kidding. They talking about her more than the POTUS. And I ain't talking about the country guy who calls into the show. Claressa get talked about more than politics, man. And look, I talk about it too because look, man, I'm getting my Guap coin. Y'all better, if y'all missed out on the Bitcoin run, y'all better get the Guap coin. Because she's giving us a lot of stuff to talk about. Because controversy makes people pay attention. She has figured out how to give people controversy. And I'm going to tell you, man, just from doing a little bit of reading, I realized that one of the oldest rules of going viral is simple. People don't have to agree with you to talk about you. In fact, disagreement can be more powerful than agreement. And that is the truth. Claressa has figured out to have 98% of people, I'm going to say in the world, all 7 continents, even them Eskimos up there with them polar bears and shit, they have their big good, very good, Claressa Shields, very, very viral, controversy. Even the Eskimos, they eating whale blubber and shit. They talking about Claressa. You go to China and shit, over there in China, you know what I mean? They talking about Claressa. Oh, I eat the hamburger. Oh, hamburger. Big Goat eat the hamburger. Like, everybody talking about Claressa Shields, man. You go out there to Jamaica, them motherfuckers about a lot of mercy. Everybody talking about Claressa Shields. You see, when somebody makes a controversial statement, man, 3 groups usually emerge. People defending them, which Claressa has a lot of them. I don't know where these people have come from. That's why I was telling you, we had a cockroach try to hit me up this morning. I don't answer the phone. The phone's off, you know what I mean? But I come downstairs and I'm plugging it up. I turn it on, you know what I'm saying? Because I was up. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm about to go to the damn pool. Some McNicholas hitting me up. Yeah, I just had to get this. It's like y'all out here defending her first thing in the morning. Like, man, dumbass, Claressa wants the attention. So you got people defending uh, someone like Claressa. Then you got the people who attack her. Then you have people who simply sit back and entertain and watch the argument. That's kind of where I fall in, you know what I'm saying? The whole shit's entertaining to me. But I don't agree with a lot of things she does. She does cross the line. But the bottom line is all three groups generate engagement and entertainment. And Claressa's outspoken personality gives people plenty to discuss. I mean, hell, look, the fact is, right? I ain't making this up. The woman, she posted a picture on Instagram with her yoo-hoo out. You know what I mean? That just lets you know she know what she's doing. So if people believe she's being brutally honest, she's being arrogant, or it's like how that Instagram stuff is just entertaining, or it's like, yo, that takes confidence, or they think she's just being provocative. The bottom line is everybody's talking about her. And I think that's the viral paradox. You don't necessarily need everyone to love you. You need everyone to notice you. But I'm starting to pick up a little bit that Claressa wants to be loved. She wants people to like her. She wants people to praise her. She wants people to talk about the event, like against K. Scott in Atlanta. She doesn't want people to talk about how she didn't take off them gloves. She wants people to, like, okay, if y'all gonna talk about that kind of stuff, right? If you're gonna talk about K. Scott being old, you're gonna talk about, that I picked her to knock her out. Okay, well, Deb, at least talk about how we sold out the event. Talk about the money that I'm making. Talk about how, I got a knockout. Like, she feels like our arguments aren't balanced. But I just want to say this. Because there's been so much lies and deception, people have questioned Claressa's entire identity. You understand? That's what happens when people lose trust in you. You lose your credibility. Your integrity gets compromised. Your entire identity gets questioned. So that's what's happened to Claressa Shields. You know what I'm saying? I know she wants to be loved. She got a little Buju Banton in it and shit. But she's not getting love. She's getting noticed. But there are some, I don't know where these people are coming from. There are some little goaties out here who put down the bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And they are coming out here and speaking up on behalf of Claressa Shields. But this is my thing. For any and everyone out there who has an issue with content creators talking about her, my thing is people can do what they want. You know what I'm saying? I ain't one to come here and tell somebody they can't say something. If y'all know my background, you'll understand why I say that. But I realize that conflict creates content. You know what I mean? That's why you look at what's going on. Claressa, there's some fan pages. I don't know who's behind them. But they're actually making content on content creators now. I said, wow, it's crazy. But the bottom line, conflict creates content. That's another ingredient of virality. It's the conflict. It's the drama. Boxing is naturally built around conflict. Fighter versus fighter. You know what I'm saying? But social media expands that into fighter versus fighter, fighter versus promoter, fighter versus commentator, fighter versus influencer, fighter versus fan, fighter versus media, and then eventually fighter versus the internet and content creators. And that's where Claressa becomes particularly interesting. Her personality can become part of the story, even when she's not fighting. And that's what's happened here. Claressa is done fighting for the rest of the year, is my understanding. Papoose can't even go do a show without people sitting here trying to get some of the footage of the show and then take it and comment on it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So Claressa has become particularly interesting. Her personality has become part of the story even when she's not fighting. And it is what it is. So that just means her promotional value doesn't necessarily disappear between fights. But to see Papoose get a show up there, I think is in Canada, right? I don't know how it went. I just saw a little clip. I don't know if it was good, if it was bad. I don't know if he got paid, how much he got paid. I don't know nothing. But what I'm saying is the promotional value seems to be picking up a little bit. But I don't know what all is going on there with her and him outside of boxing. But one thing I do know is the internet loves a character. That's why when people are like, I just wish she would go away. Do you really wish she would go away? I mean, let's be real. Some people say, yeah. If Claressa went away, well, I'll say this. I think if Claressa went away, some people would be happy. But the people who really depend on her to give them content, they're going to be shitting bricks. You know what I'm saying? They really look forward to Claressa coming out here, especially when she goes live. Because Claressa knows what she's doing. You know, but the bottom line is, the internet loves a character, and this is, in my opinion, the biggest reason Claressa remains relevant. Whether you like her or not, the internet loves a character. It's like you want to hear what she said. What she said today, oh, Lord have mercy, she did what? She showed what? Papoose, Papoose. You know what I'm saying? What the hell did he do? There's plenty people on the internet that's doing shit. But there's not plenty of, I'm going to go ahead and say it, excellent boxers who have chosen to become a character like Claressa and just come out here with all these recognizable traits, especially when she goes, man, please, bullshit, hood champion, there you go. Always trying to kick knowledge. Know that you don't like me. You don't like me. I know you don't like me. It's like Claressa. You don't like me either. You know what I'm saying? The difference is, it's not that I dislike you or like you. You're just interesting. You have recognizable traits. And I've come to learn what to expect from you. It's the unexpected. You know what I'm saying? I know that when that name appears, something happened or is going to happen or could happen. That's the unpredictability. And the unpredictability is extremely valuable in social media, but it's not when it comes to getting big-time endorsement deals and sponsorships. No company wants to get behind somebody who's unpredictable. But for social media and content creators, and even for her and what she's doing on her social media platforms, it's extremely valuable. That's why she's saying, I make thousands, I make thousands, I make $5,000 a day, $10,000 a day. I make $2 million. Claressa, you ain't making no $2 million a month now. Now let's hold the horses and not take it to the stupid. But I do believe Claressa's making thousands. I 100% believe it because I know what I make. And I just be on here for a little bit. I don't be living on this shit. But for her, with all them people following her and all them views she get for anything she puts out, I 100% believe every month Claressa clears some good money from social media. And that's because, again, people want to know what the hell she say this time. What she do? That's different from who won the fight. Man, nobody be caring about that shit after a couple of days. It's more about what she say this time, you see? That's the question that generates content 365 days a year and keeps everybody talking about Big Goat. Man, please. Her and her boyfriend, and it seemed to be for her, hopefully, husband-to-be, Papoose. She understands that attention doesn't have to be positive. She doesn't care. And old Papoose, he doesn't seem to care either. They're like, shit, this don't have to be positive. And this is where Claressa may be considerably more media savvy than some people realize. She done figured this shit out and cracked the code, didn't she? That's a major difference between being liked and being talked about. All the people who don't like her, they watch her. That's all she cares. She like, all right, man. Social media, yeah, y'all don't like me, y'all can hate me, but y'all rewarding this attention I'm giving y'all. Y'all watching my videos. Man, please say what you want. You making me rich. Making me rich, whoop rich. Papoose. She out here chilling. Controversial clips can outperform a technically brilliant boxing performance. Especially, you can have a technically brilliant boxing performance and not take off them goddamn gloves and get the whole world to talking. I mean, you got Hood Champion to sit there and talk, but I'll just observe him because, you know, I'm not someone who's sitting out here just scratching my ass. You know what I'm saying? 4 days out the week, I'm in the boxing gym working out. And then I go with my youngest son, you know what I mean? That little dude is getting good, man. So I know when you finish, you know, sparring or you're hitting the bag or you're just in there hitting mitts or whatever, once you finish doing anything that required them gloves, you take that shit off. That's like coming out, like me coming home back in the day before I retired, couldn't wait to kick them goddamn boots off and take off that uniform. You know, some of y'all are like that. When y'all come home, y'all kick off your shoes and y'all got y'all big old feet with them hair on your toes and shit, toenails all over the place, feet stinking. Y'all kick off your shoes too. It's normal to want to take off shoes and as a boxer, take off your gloves. She didn't. So, you know, we talked about it. Because social media rewards attention. You know what I'm saying? Heated arguments. I mean, how many times have we seen Claressa get out here and just go buck wild on a live, arguing with people, raising hell? And see, those heated arguments can outperform a championship announcement. A personal life story can outperform a highlight reel. That's the modern attention economy when you think about it. Controversial clips. Do we get controversial clips from Big Vote? Yes. Any heated arguments, any drama? Every day. Any personal life story, anything out there that people may find a bit interesting? She got an interesting story. We all know she has an interesting story. And I haven't heard anyone say anything, you know, and that's one thing I noticed. People watch what they say about her as a child and what she went through. There's a lot of people who, that's what I haven't heard anybody say anything crazy about that part of her life. Now, shit after that, they open season on her. They've got the weapon off safety on full blast. But as a child, it's like even the internet, she can get mad at people, but even they don't touch that. So they kind of show a little bit of respect that there's certain lines they ain't go cross. But the bottom line is the modern attention economy. She's got it, man. And she repeatedly finds herself in the middle of all those conversations that I just talked about. You know what I mean? But there's another powerful social media phenomenon. I call it not the don't take it to the stupid, but the innocent bystander effect. You know, a major personality becomes associated with someone who already has a large audience. Suddenly, the second person's followers become exposed to the first person's story. This doesn't automatically mean the connection was intentionally manufactured for publicity. That's something outsiders can't know without evidence, so we got to be real about that. But from a content perspective, the effect can be enormous. Now, you know who I'm talking about. Old sweet Caroline Dubois. She's a good example of her being attached to Claressa, a major personality with a very large audience and all the attention in the world. And, you know, the fact is, you know, Caroline Dubois has taken some blows behind being attached to Claressa Shields. You know what I'm saying? So Claressa becoming connected to a personality with hundreds of thousands of millions of followers, the conversation can migrate into an entirely different audience, even if they have hundreds of followers. The bottom line is, you attach yourself to Claressa, that conversation starts to migrate, and then it starts to affect you, and it's either going to be bad or good. And right now, for the most part, it's not really positive. You see, and that's where boxing starts to become secondary, because now people who don't watch boxing are asking, who's Claressa Shields? Why is this person attached to her? And that's the incredibly valuable exposure, where it can be good or bad, but it seems that everything with Claressa is more to the negative extreme. You know what I'm saying? But here's the irony, because there are some people defending her, and that's making the story bigger. Like honestly, like we're talking about it because we're noticing, like, damn. And I'm not talking about Monique, but I'm just talking about on the internet, man. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people coming out here defending Big Rope. And I'm not saying nobody's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's happening, and I notice it. You know? Sometimes a celebrity doesn't need to fight their critics. Excuse me, drinking some agua. The supporters will do it for them, you know? Supporters will come out and defend a celebrity against those critics. You know, someone posts criticism, they're on their ass. Another person responds. You know what I'm saying? Then somebody screenshots the response. A YouTuber makes a video, another YouTuber responds. TikTok accounts repost it, Instagram pages discuss it, and suddenly the original controversy has multiplied because it's content creators going back and forth, sharing information, sharing content. People say, oh, that's what they're talking about. I didn't hear that. They go run the same story. Next thing you know, something that started off with one content creator about Claressa Shields ends up across all social media platforms, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, everything, Snapchat. You see? And the thing is, the person at the center doesn't even have to participate. And that's why I think Claressa and her team, I don't know if somebody said they're out there trying to take down channels. I don't know what the hell's going on. It seems to me that I don't think they should try to take down channels. Now, I don't know what people are saying because YouTube has guidelines. So you can tell them whatever they want. If it doesn't fall within their guidelines, they don't care. You're just complaining. But if you're violating YouTube policies and guidelines and your channel gets taken down, that's your fault. You know, like me, if that happens to me, it's my fault. You know, it has nothing to do with the person. It's the guidelines. So just don't violate the guidelines. But I'd be surprised if they were really out here trying to take down all of the content creators, because the content creators have an audience, and the audience becomes a marketing machine. Claressa, everyone talks, man, they're not promoting her fights. That's why on the lives I tell them, what promotion does Demetrius Salita need to do? Does Win Records need to do? The internet does it for her. You know, we have nightly lives. We talk about a little bit of everything, but 80% of the conversation is around Claressa Shields. But our conversation jumps around. But I mean, the audience is the marketing machine. So I don't know why she would want to take down a bunch of people's channels. Because if you want the attention, you got it. Just roll with the punches, man. But I'm just saying that Claressa's, she's not necessarily orchestrating, man, all of these takedowns, but she's definitely orchestrating all of the viral moments and all of the craziness that attracts the attention and gets people to talking. But what happens? It turns into controversy, and then it develops a life of its own, and she loses control, because once that shit hits the content creator's hands, or just the average Joe who's talking about her, she don't have any control about how that conversation goes. There are young and old talking about Claressa, and they're not even content creators. It's just your average Joe civilians who are like, who is this girl everyone keeps talking about? And yo, I'm talking across all races, religions, everyone is talking about Claressa Shields. But that's because of the controversy, and it's developed a life of its own. And it's out of control, and she can't control it. And this is where it gets really interesting, though. And this is why I said I'd be surprised if she really out here trying to mess with content creators to the point of trying to, ruin them all. The attention has economic value. So we start talking about monetization. If everybody stopped talking about Claressa Shields and all of a sudden they say that audience who watches her say, yo, we tired, we're not watching her, shit dries up. So I don't think she wants that necessarily, but because I think she understands that YouTube views generate advertising revenue. Social media attention increases followers. Followers can increase sponsorship opportunities. Controversy can create interviews. Interviews create clips. Clips create more controversy. More controversy creates more videos, and the cycle repeats. So when people ask, hey man, why y'all keep talking about it? Why does this keep happening? The answer is pretty goddamn simple. Because the modern media ecosystem rewards attention, and Claressa consistently generates it. So everyone talks about it, because at the end of the month, you get a little bit of that Wu-Tang cream, cha-ching-ching, dollar bill, y'all, and everybody feel good. Claressa too, because she making dough off the internet. And that's why I think she may be smarter than y'all giving her credit for, you know what I'm saying? And this is probably the most fascinating part of what I'm talking about here tonight, you know what I'm saying? People can criticize her behavior. She's earned that. Because Claressa and that whole man please bullshit, she go off on any and everybody anyway. Anywhere, she don't care. I'm surprised she didn't start running up and down the road biting people and shit. Claressa, her behavior is wild, man. That's why she gets criticized. People can dislike her personality. People can disagree with her opinions, which they do. But there's a whole nother question, Does she understand how attention works? Because if the objective is visibility, oh, she's accomplishing something extraordinarily difficult. She has remained one of the most recognizable names in women's boxing while generating conversations that extend far beyond boxing. Like I said, young and old, all races, all religions know who the hell she is now. She international, baby. And that's not easy. You can debate whether every controversy is good for her long-term reputation. I don't think it is. You know what I'm saying? Long-term, I think Clarissa's not going to want all this drama, but it ain't going to stop. So you can debate, again, about the controversy, whether that's good for her long-term, but you can't easily argue that people aren't paying attention. You know, people are paying attention. But there's a problem, man. You see, this attention game, the story could take a dark, dark turn. And that's what's happened to Claressa. Like, she wanted to win the attention game. Okay, you won it, but shit got dark, man. You know, it's not really fun for Claressa, you know. Sometimes like you can tell she doesn't care, but you can tell like when she's there breezing, she don't like all this dark shit and people talking about it and all the attention and the insults and attacks. Even though she dishes it out, she doesn't like when it comes back at her because it's the whole world seem to be talking at her. But she wanted the attention. That's my thing. Like if she and I would ever talk, I'd say, and she said, "Man, please, hood champion," but everybody be cussing at me and calling me names. And look, you know, all right, whatever. Y'all want to do content, but why y'all gotta talk like this about me? Like, Claressa, but why you have to talk at people like that? You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of things Claressa has done from going into people's DMs and stuff, even if the person was harassing her, she has gone into people's DMs underneath her profile name and has said the most horrible things to people. She will look at their profile, see if they have kids, see if they're ugly, if they're fat, if their bathroom dirty. She looking if the dog biting the cat. She looking at everything. Oh, that bed don't have no sheets on it. Pillows don't have no pillowcase. Piss stain on the bed. Claressa will go and look at your profile and search through your shit to find something that really you didn't really want people to see and talk about because you never expected someone to be on your profile. And she will come and she will just tear your ass up with the most wicked direct message you could ever think of. But this is the thing. You know what I'm saying? She wanted the attention. And I know for a fact that she's done this stuff because I've seen the stuff. And I even asked her, when she and I talked, I asked her, she was like, "I don't mess with no one unless they mess with me." And I was like, "Damn, Claressa, you got that much time on your hands to, you know, argue and go back and forth with every person who says something you don't like?" She's like, "I wish I did." I said, "Damn." So the attention was easy to obtain, but she hasn't been able to control it. You know, you can start a conversation, but you can't determine where that conversation goes, and that's what she doesn't like. The conversation has gone directions where it's overwhelming. It's always cool when you dishing it out, you know. But it's like I said, it's no fun to it's not that fun when the rabbit has the gun. You know what I'm saying? When Bugs Bunny get that gun and he starts shooting at Elmer Fudge ass, Elmer Fudge didn't like that wascally wabbit. Claressa ain't liking that shit. The rabbit got the gun. Bo, 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 and you don't like it. You can make controversial statements, but you can't control the reaction. You can become associated with another public personality like Papoose, but you can't control what the audience says. Let me see, that relationship between her and Papoose. To me, it's like it is what it is at this point. You know what I'm saying? Remy said she ain't with him. It's over. Yeah, they legally married. But even Remy's like, yo, I'm single. So Papoose and Claressa, it is what it is. But it goes all the way back, man. For people like the ladies, especially who was following it, because I wasn't following none of that shit years ago. The ladies been watching this whole thing with Remy and Papoose and her going to jail and all of the shit, all hip hop, whatever that show is. I never watched any of it. So I know the ladies are like, look, we understand Remy and Papoose are separated, but we ain't letting certain things go because of the fact that Claressa was out here and had befriended Remy and somehow ends up with Papoose. Like, the ladies don't respect that. I'm just telling you. So she's associated with another public personality, and people are still saying the way she went about it was foul. And they talk about the fact that I think she was engaged at the time to someone else. And I just listen to the ladies talking. They be going off, boy. They go off. But the thing is, she can't control what they say. She can't control what the audience says. As a result, she's become a viral topic. Her relationship is a viral topic. That relationship is the viral topic that ain't never gonna go away. If she were to marry Papoose, that ain't gonna matter. People are gonna be watching and waiting for them to split up, seeing if he's gonna take half of her money, if he's ever gonna give her a Pap Jr. They just watch it. Every day is gonna be content being dropped. And her champion be right here with his popcorn or eating my little dal puree and my little curry shrimp or whatever, and just watching. I'm like, damn, this shit getting. I thought last year was good. This year is even better with the content and the drama. So I don't think she realized that there's no guarantee that the viral stories from today to the next day to months down the road, they're not going to portray you favorably. You know, she wants things to favor her favorably, right? It's not. She don't have no control over that shit. I don't have any control. You don't. I see they're creating content on content creators. That shit bugged me out. I'm like, Lord have mercy. So now they coming out here. Like, it's crazy, man. But that's the danger with social media. That's why I say, can't we all just get along? You know what I'm saying? Everybody need to get them a fishing pole and head on out to the river, lake, or ocean and just go breeze. Take your little portable speaker, play your little music, whatever you like, Elvis Presley, whatever the fuck it is, and just chill, man. But that's the danger I don't think she was prepared for, is that she wasn't able to guarantee that the viral stories are going to portray her in a positive light, because nothing has portrayed her in a positive light because she hasn't put out positive things for people to come and talk about. You know what I'm saying? The internet doesn't forget, man. And big whoops, you got to understand that. I think that's the biggest challenge. Like, even if she comes out tomorrow and she's able to men in black us with the goddamn pen and make us forget, or try to make us forget, you know, she's done so much that she'd have to try to make us forget, like in segments, like, you know, delete 25% of the memory today, and another 25 tomorrow. Then, you know, after 4 days, you get it all gone. But she's gonna keep doing stuff. So it's a cycle. You know what I'm saying? It's a cycle. Every controversy creates a digital footprint. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Every interview creates clips. All the arguments create screenshots. The relationship, every relationship creates speculation. There's this, look at how her name's been attached to different guys. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it goes when you're on the internet. It just creates drama and speculation. And the public statements, that shit is going to be there and revisited years later. I'm talking 10, 20, 30 years down the road. They will be talking about Claressa. That's why I always say when I talk about it, like, yo, big whoa, do you not realize you 31, you're going to be 32 next year. You realize when you 60, people are going to be talking about this shit? You ain't learned from what Mike Tyson went through? Mike Tyson a pop now. He chilling. Mike Tyson doesn't want people talking about him shit he did in his 20s and 30s. He don't want to talk about that. He was like, I was young, I made mistakes. I'm sorry. I mean, what do you want me to do now? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do better. I think I changed. I'm trying to change, like, but people won't let it go because Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson was out there. But a lot of us were. A lot, like you, man, if y'all only knew, some of these people y'all see here on the internet who are a bit more laid back and easygoing, if y'all knew what lays dormant inside them, it's scary. So a lot of us, man, You learn how to treat people, you learn how to treat yourself. But those who haven't learned, there's no hope for them. There's no hope for them. But those who really been through some shit, you learn how to treat people. For real. Because you don't want to be dealing with all that bullshit, man, years later. Especially when you get some gray in your hair. You want to just chill. And that's why when I talk about Claressa and this, the internet doesn't forget this Papoose situation. It becomes such a fascinating example of modern celebrity culture, whether Claressa and Papoose are gonna get married or have a little Pap Jr., Papoose, Pap Jr. That's their personal decision. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen there. It looked like it could be going that direction. I ain't gonna lie. I'm watching. I'm like, Papoose gonna mess around and marry Gold. But we gonna find out because Papoose be moving the kind of way sometimes. But he may or may not do it. We don't know. But next year's supposed to be the year. We're gonna find out. But it's really on them. But what I'm getting at is that their relationship remains publicly discussed from her. He doesn't really say anything. So as long as she keeps talking about it and posting images, even if she stops talking about it, content creators are going to continue talking about them for years. And let me tell you this. If Claressa has a Pap Jr., boy, the internet is going to internet. And it ain't going to be nothing fun, man. It's not going to be nothing fun. I look at how they are with a certain personality on the internet right now who's always, he's kind of showing off the child. And I see how they are. And I don't talk about those things, but I'm like, damn. I saw how they were years ago with a certain personality that had a daughter, and I was like, yo, these people are crazy, talking about the child, all kind of shit. So Claressa, she's gonna struggle because she can't protect her child from the internet, and that's what's crazy. That's what's crazy. For years to come, man, content creators are gonna be here ready to talk about it. I mean, I'm gonna be talking about things. I ain't gonna talk about the child. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know that ain't me, but I'll be sitting here talking about seeing what's going on with them, especially boxing. If she ain't fighting, I'll be like, oh, her career's over. You can't come off of inactivity and having children and think you can just return back to the top of a sport. Claressa's already been fighting over 10 years, and to me, she's now coming out of her peak. You see, it's one thing to be going into your prime, and now getting to your peak. She's coming out of her prime now. So Claressa's on the decline. And if they get married, that's just going to be more content. If they don't, that's even more content. If they have a child, more content. If they don't, content. Break up, stay together for 20 years, content. Walk away from the sport for a year or two and come back, content. Come back and lose, that's going to be content for the rest of her life. But that's the monster created by perpetual online commentary. The story doesn't necessarily end when the original event ends or when you want it to end. This shit has taken a life of its own. Like it's not going anywhere. I'm sitting here telling y'all, my background is project management and engineering. I know about long-term planning. You know what I mean? I used to plan this shit for 10 and 15 years out. And refining that annually, quarterly. You know what I'm saying? Well, annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. You know what I'm saying? That was my background without getting too specific. So I'm telling you, content creators, I'm watching. I'm talking about it. Even myself, they're invested in the next chapter. This shit like a movie to me. I'm like, damn, what comes next? And the content creators too, they're watching. It's not even about what she's doing today. Not solely about that. But it's about, well, what's next? But nobody would be talking about marriage and children and boxing and retirement and her relationship and what business is she doing with these dolls and shit, and the promotional ventures and this and that. And nobody would be talking about that if she ain't put that out there like that. She put it out there so everybody sit back watching now. They ain't got popcorn like me. They got magnifying glasses, telescopes, binoculars. They got everything, boy. They watching. They want to see what's going on. Well, I'm sitting back with my popcorn. But she put it out there. You can't get mad at content creators and people because they talking about you whether you get married to Papoose, you can't get mad. Talking about when you have a little Goat Junior, Pap Junior, you can't get mad. People talking about your boxing and you gaining weight, losing weight, and all that, and eating fried rice and training. You put it out there, they're gonna talk about it. And how you about to retire and your relationship and sex and everything that you out here talking about, man. Legacy and your life after boxing. Let me tell you something, man. Claressa has become something different from being a boxer. You know what I mean? Even her life after everything about Claressa is she's no longer a boxer. She's a long-term media personality. Over this last year, I've sat back here and watched Claressa transition from being a boxer to a long-term media personality. That's what she is, man. And that ain't meant to be disrespectfully. That's what she wants to do. You can tell she kind of enjoys it. She kind of enjoys it. It's like me. I enjoy talking about boxing. I don't want to go out there and be working back in project management or be up there working for one of these like Wells Fargo when it comes to in the audit department. I don't want to be a senior auditor. I don't want to go do none of that shit. I don't want keep your 180,000 in bonus. I don't want that shit. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy my little space here. Shit therapeutic for me. Life good, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to go deal with that stress and bullshit. And I think Claressa doesn't want to deal with a lot of stress and bullshit of boxing. But she got herself in a situation over there with Win Records, Dimitri Salita, and Papoose, where she may have to, keep fighting. She says she want to fight till she's 38, but I don't see how a long-term media personality can box for that long. Remember, she ain't a boxer no more, folks. She, as a boxer, has become something different. And it is what it is, man. She just opened a can of worms that she can't control. And that's just what I concluded. That's how I feel. She discovered something very, very powerful. Controversy. She figured that shit out and how it creates attention. You got it. Quote, job well done. You figured it out. Very powerful. But the danger is that once millions of people become invested in your personal story, you don't own the conversation anymore. That's why people take something that she puts out there and they go and they talk about it and it just goes all over. It's not going to travel the direction you want it to travel. You see what I'm saying? You don't own those conversations. The audience does. The content creators do. The algorithms do. The reaction channels do. The people who dislike you do. Even the people who like you or you think like you, but behind your back, they do. And I'm going to tell you, ironically, right? Even the people defending you, they're keeping the story alive. That's the cycle. So all the people coming out trying to defend Big Goat, you're not helping. You're not helping her. You're helping, really, the content creators. You're helping to generate more attention, more virality, to get people to talk about the things that, Claressa may not necessarily want people to talk about. It's a cycle, man, and it's a hustle. So it is what it is, man. That's how I see it. I just see short-term attention versus long-term legacy. And I keep saying, they picking low-hanging fruit, man. This is where Claressa's career, for me, has got very interesting. Short-term thinkers ask dumb shit, man. Did everybody talk about me today? You know what I'm saying? Long-term thinkers, they're more like, what will everybody remember about me 20 years from now? It's just like the events they put on. I don't think they have no long-term plans. It's just like they're looking for some kind of immediate reward. Have a fight on this day, get paid, okay, everybody happy. All right, we'll figure out what we're doing next. They should already have the next 2 years mapped out for Big Book if they're really professional and about their business. Every time she fights, they should already have 3 or so people who are willing to fight her, or willing to, they should have at least an 80% solution, a primary and an alternate, and maybe an alternate to the alternate. But they don't, and they can't do that because so many people have been turned off and don't want to work with them. Because again, of her attitude, man. You know what I'm saying? So worried about what's going on today, not thinking about how you're going to be remembered 20 years from now. Those are completely different things and questions. Claressa Big Boat. Look, she's accomplished extraordinary things. Inside the ring, it is what it is. A lot of these women have. Amanda Serrano, beautiful, beautiful woman, man. I like Serrano. Man. I ain't gonna lie, I like Serrano. She's done extraordinary things as well. But when you just think about that for a second, Big Goat and Big Serrano, Goat versus Demote. What do you think Serrano's going to be known for? You think she's going to be known for drama? Or she going to be known for them trilogies with Katie Taylor? She going to be known for becoming a 7-weight division champion? She going to be known for having over 50 fights, fighting damn near 20 years? And someone who's really come out here and made money hand over fist and elevated the sport of women's boxing and try to bring other women along? You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. Now, when you talk about Big Goat, what's she gonna be remembered for? Look at all the shit she's doing right now. What's she gonna be remembered for? See, I don't think they thought about that. I think they're looking at it now. You know what I'm saying? Because Amanda Serrano, like Claressa, Claressa has accomplished some extraordinary things. Serrano's accomplished more. You know what I mean? Inside that ring. But outside that ring, the one thing Serrano's accomplished and one thing she has that Claressa doesn't have, Serrano has the people. And she has that people because of the attitude, man. Consummate professional in and outside the ring. So the bigger question isn't whether Claressa can become famous or because she already is. I think it's really what kind of legacy all this attention ultimately creates. Because you look at Serrano, you look at Katie Taylor, you look at Christy Martin, you look at Ann Wolfe, you look at Layla Ali, you look at all these women who are here right now, about to retire, and those who've already retired, the pioneers. When people talk about them, look how they speak about them. I don't hear people saying anything negative about those women. They talk about Claressa negatively, man. But she ultimately created all the bullshit, because you look at the conversations right now. Even Hood Champion doesn't talk about the Olympic accomplishments because that's old news. It's a big deal, but that's back years ago. It doesn't matter anymore. Her being an undisputed champion, it doesn't matter anymore. Whether Claressa isn't a trailblazer, it doesn't matter. The outspoken personality, that gets talked about. The controversial celebrity, that gets talked about. But it's not a combination of all. It's just really two things that's really spoken about, and what she seems, and what the direction it seems to be going, where that's all she's gonna be known for, just being an outspoken personality, controversial celebrity, and someone who has been toxic and in a relationship with somebody who was married, and that's just the facts. Whether anyone likes it or not, I mean, that's just the facts. But again, there is a small contingent of supporters who are coming out here and trying to say positive things and be encouraging. But it's just a Claressa Shields phenomenon right now, man. People who criticize Claressa may actually be helping her become more famous. And the people defending her may also be helping her become more famous. You come out here trying to attack people who are talking about Claressa. All you're doing, because you feel like, oh, they're bringing the wrong kind of attention to Claressa. You ain't doing nothing but amplifying it. You know what I'm saying? When anybody talks about Claressa, they make her more famous, from YouTubers, from TikTok creators, anybody. And then the people arguing in the comments are making her more famous. So when the Goldys come out and they're saying stuff, that's why I tell them, stay in school, kid. Don't come into my comments talking shit. I'm just going to tell you, stay in school. You're the real MVP. Because as long as you keep the algorithm going, Hood Champions got love for you. And plus, I know most of y'all ain't never going to show y'all faces and shit. You got these fake profiles. Everybody got these fake profiles. It's crazy. But I'm just saying this. Every time somebody says, man, I'm so tired of hearing about Claressa Shields, they're talking about Claressa Shields, and that's the ultimate viral paradox. I'm so tired of hearing about her, but you're talking about her. So the bottom line is Claressa Shields may have reached a point where the boxing matches are no longer the only events that determine her relevance. Her personality, that shit is an event. Her relationships are an event. Her statements are an event. Her controversies are events. And her social media activity is definitely an event. And that's not why her name keeps appearing in conversations far outside the boxing ring. You know, there's a warning hidden inside of that success of getting the attention of the whole world. But the thing is this, you can control what you say. You cannot control what the world does with it. And that seems to be what Claressa has figured out, how to get the world's attention. But the challenge is figuring out how to keep that attention from defining her legacy. That seems to be the struggle. Because once you teach the internet to watch everything you do, which is what she's done, like Claressa has taught the internet to watch everything she's doing, what she's wearing, what she's eating, everything, what she's buying, they're watching everything. She's taught the internet how to watch everything she does. As a result, the internet is probably never going to stop watching, and they will always talk about her up until she takes her last dying breath. Because talking about Claressa Shields means that you're going to make some money. Look at all the pop-up content creators who just come out here with channels and all they do every day is talk about Claressa Shields. And now they're making a little $1,000 a month, $2,000. Other people who get more views, they're making good money. People are making good money off Claressa Shields. They really are. And it's not going to stop because Claressa came out here and taught the internet how to watch everything she does. And as a result, the internet's not going to stop watching. They're not going to stop talking. So to answer the question, who is the most talked about boxer on the internet? Shannon Sharp said, I don't know about this one, Hood. Well, we all know who it is. Big Whoop, man, please, Claressa Shields. Will it ever stop? Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.